Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to do a video on the skill scan. This seems to be causing a lot of people a lot of anxiety. So I'm going to give you a little look at what the skill scan is, how it works, and what's needed, okay? So let me just share my screen with you now and pull up the skill scan that you're going to need to fill in if you want to enroll on the 2346 or the EW3 Experience Worker Assessment. Okay, so this is the skill scan you've got to fill in. This is a requirement by TESP, who own the qualification. Okay, and it's a requirement that you fill this in prior to your skill scan interview. So the skill scan is made up of two parts. You filling in this form and then an interview on the answers you give on this form. So I'm just going to take you through the form. I'm going to take you through what's involved, and then you'll know exactly what to read or research in order for a successful skill scan to take place. Okay, guys? And just please remember, there's nothing really to worry about, but we are looking for your underpinning fundamental knowledge, okay? So I'm going to highlight the important things that you should be researching and that you should know in order to successfully complete your skill scan. So first of all, make sure you put your name in there. You're going to need to get the training provider will sign, put their name in, and put their organization details there. Okay. Does the candidate hold the relevant level 2 qualification? Now, you have to have a minimum of a level 2 diploma to sit this qualification, right? But to find out if your qualification is suitable for this, you can look at the skill scan form. So you've got three tables, table A, table B, and table C. So if the qualification you've got is listed on any of these tables, you are eligible to sit this MVQ. Okay? So any of these qualifications in table A, any of the qualifications in table B, and any of the qualifications in table C. Okay, so if you've got any of these qualifications, you can sit this experienced worker MVQ. All right, and I'll put a link to a skill scan in the comments so you can have this document. Any other relevant qualifications you've got, you can log there. Okay, so this is built up of different sections and kind of mirrors the AM2 really in terms of what they're asking. So when you get this form in a PDF form, you will be able to edit it like so, okay? And what you need to do is look at the elements here and then give your opinion, your self-assessment of what you think your knowledge of this is, right? So for example, if you tick extensive for carry out a risk assessment, but you don't know how many steps there are in an official risk assessment and what those steps are, your knowledge is not extensive. In fact, your knowledge is limited. So you will need to know and understand what a risk assessment is, how a risk assessment is built, and what a risk assessment is made of, how it's constructed, okay? Safe isolation, again, you need to tick your knowledge of safe isolation, single phase and three phase. So you need to know, guys, the full and correct safe isolation procedure as if you were in college or in the AM2. So this is not winging it. It's not doing it with a tester pen, right? This is the full and correct safe isolation procedure, which is what you'll need to research and what we'll be looking for, okay? Generally, if you can't get through the health and safety section, guys, you don't know risk assessments and you don't know safe isolation, we're going to stop the skill scan right there. You're not working safely and we're not going to proceed and we're going to send you away to do some further learning before we're going to proceed. So that's why this is first and that's why it's fundamental. If you don't know safe isolation and you don't know risk assessments, you're not going any further on the skill scan, and that's the way it is, okay? Installation, so what they're looking for here is your knowledge and experience of the different cables and containments and accessories listed. So all you've got to do is, when we're talking about technical data, you're looking for knowledge of wiring diagrams, drawings, designs, things like that. You might want to get a few symbols from the on-site guide in your mind, or have the on-site guide with you so we can discuss symbols maybe, and just exploring your knowledge, your technical knowledge of, do you know your electrical symbols? Do you know what a wiring diagram is? Do you know what a drawing and design is? Okay. Selection of protective devices. So this one, we're going to explore Ohm's law really, and we're going to, be really looking at, like, can you calculate? Can you do a simple calculation of defining or arriving at the conclusion of what protective device you would need for a certain set load? All right. So just make sure there it's a little bit of science knowledge. It's a little bit of Ohm's law. This is testing whether you've got the electrical underpinning knowledge in there, okay? Equipotential bonding, what is it? You'll be surprised the amount of people that get that wrong. And then just different types of cables, containments that you might have worked with. If you have, you will just tick that you've worked with them and that you've got experience of working with them. That's really quite straightforward, okay? I probably expect you to know, how to calculate resistance on a cable length. And again, just testing your underpinning knowledge there, all right? So coming down to containments now, we're talking about PVC conduit, metal conduit, PVC trunking, metal trunking. And are you installing these? And if you are, do you know how many cables you can put in the containment? Do you know how to find your containment factors? Do you know how all that works? That's what we're going to be exploring in this part, okay? So again, it's not just a case of, yeah, I fit metal conduit. Great. Do you form it? Do you set it? Do you bend it? Do you thread it? Do you use manufactured bends? Do you use a bending tool, right? How many cables can you put in? If you're using singles, how many singles will go in a 20 mil bit of conduit? And where do you find that information from? Okay, so things like that to research and learn before you come on skillscan. Three-phase stuff, we're going to talk about three-phase knowledge, three-phase installation, three-phase colors, three-phase PFC testing, things like that, maybe. Bonding to gas and water. This is aimed at Amendment 2. Do you need to bond to gas and water? If so, why? And S-plan heating systems. If you have worked on them, great. If not, you may just want to have a little look at S or Y plan systems just to make sure that you've got a little bit of an understanding of how that system works, okay? Direct online starters, again, it's something that's covered in your AM2. So at this point, it would be really good that if you don't work with DOLs or have never worked with DOLs, that you do have a look at them, you research them. What is it? What's it used for? Why does it exist? What's the purpose of a DOL starter? I'd expect you to know that and what application that would be used for and how to wire it up, okay? So, as you can see, it's not rocket science, guys, but this is the skill scan and this is the type of thing that we're looking for. We're not just going through a tick list this side, we're looking for your underpinning knowledge, okay? When we come to inspection and testing then, again, some of you will have or done the 2391 or the inspection and testing EAL. Some of you will not have, but ultimately, guys, you should be level 2, level 3 knowledgeable by this point, and we're looking for an underpinning knowledge of inspection and testing, okay? So guidance note 3 says we have to do a risk assessment before inspection and testing. We're going to talk about the specific testing and inspection risk assessment. We're going to talk about visual inspection. So we're looking that you know what a schedule of inspections is, okay? And how to use a schedule of inspections or what type of things you inspect before testing. We're going to look at all the tests. And guys, with testing, right, we don't just want to know you can do a continuity test, you can do an insulation resistance test, which many people can't correctly, by the way. But we want to know why you're doing the test, how you do the test, and how you verify your results, okay? So again, when you're coming onto the skill scan, get into your guidance note 3 and have a really good look at your every single test, what it is, how you do it, why you do it, and how do you verify your results. Very, very important, okay? And that's the same for each one. When we talk about prospective fault current, we're going to talk about single and three-phase. So have a little look at three-phase PFC testing and how that's done, why it's done, what we're looking for, and how to log the result that you get. Very interesting one, that. Electrical installation certificates, we're going to want a little bit of knowledge about what type of certificate you issue for what type of install. We're going to want to know about handover and how long you should keep a certificate, maybe, we want that. Fault finding, we're going to talk about some faults, maybe short circuits, open circuits or something, how you identify a fault, how you'd approach faults sensibly. We may go through a scenario in this question, and you'll have to come up with a solution for that scenario, okay? And then we'll look a little bit about, so health and safety we'll have covered. Building regs, guys. Electrician's Guide to the Building Regulations is your key here. Type building reg A, building reg B, we're gonna want to know your building regs, okay? So we might sort of say to you, tell me a little bit about part A of the building regulations. What is it? What's the purpose of it? What's that building reg exist for? We're going to be looking for your knowledge on building regulations, okay? And that's it. That's the skill scan, okay? You can list any other experience you feel relevant there. And that's that. So that's the skill scan form, guys. That's how you fill it in. This will be coupled with an interview, which I've gone through. So any of those points on that skill scan, you will need to know. What we're getting at the moment is a lot of people trying to wing it. They're coming on, might have the level 2, but there's people who are not knowing safe isolation. There's people not knowing what a risk assessment is. There's people not knowing what an S-plan wiring system is. There's people not knowing what symbols go on an electrical diagram. There's people not knowing anything about testing whatsoever, guys. And if I'm honest, if you haven't got that level of knowledge on this skill scan form, that's where it's going to end until you go away and learn that stuff. Because we're not going to accept people onto this qualification that don't have the underpinning knowledge. It's not fair on you, and it's not responsible of the training provider to accept you on without getting through this, and certainly not what TESP recommend the way we do this, okay? So please bear that in mind. That's the skill scan form. I hope this has been helpful and informative, and please feel free to ask any questions at all that you want on the group regarding this topic. So thank you very much. And